Hey guys, I'm gonna do a quick Honda Fury review here. This is a 2015 model. I bought this thing new in I think March of 2015. Oh, I just went on about an 80-mile ride, or a little more than that, close to 100 miles. This bike is bone stock. I haven't done anything at all to it, any kind of nothing. I put gas in it, changed oil. I did change this radiator guard. The Fury comes with a little old chrome or a little old plastic guard that's really flimsy and cheap looking. I did change that to that chrome. And that's all I've done to this bike. I always ride by myself. I've had all kinds of bikes over the years. I actually had a 2005 VTX 1300R and set it up to haul my wife, and she won't ride. She's afraid. So I've traded a couple of times since then. I put 22,000 miles on that bike though and loved it. And I wanted this bike in 2014, and it was $13,499 new suggested retail price. 2015 models came out and they lowered the suggested retail price of these to $99.99. So that made the difference, and I went ahead and bought this bike. Just a great bike. I've had Harley fever, and for the money, I found a used 15 Harley at the local Harley dealer here, which is Wildcat Harley Davidson. It was $14,995, I think. 9,900 miles. My bike's got about the same mileage on it. I could have traded for like $10,000, and you know, the Harley looks cool. It sounds great. I've never ridden one. I do like the way it looks and sets and feels. But I just have to go back to the basics. This bike is paid for, first of all, and that's huge. But it's not like I'm having any kind of hardship or suffering from this bike, because this bike is smooth as silk. I mean, it is just, I can't imagine a bike riding, handling, and shifting any smoother or better than this bike does. It's just smooth as it can be. I think it's a very good looking bike. I can't put a windshield on it. I just can't sacrifice the looks on this particular bike. I've had a windshield on every bike I've ever owned. I can't do that on this bike just because of the way it's raked down, and it's just, the windshield just would kill the looks of this bike. So I've got a pair of riding goggles, and I actually got a mask I wear, because I don't wear a helmet a whole lot, to be honest with you. But if I hit the interstate, I do. But anyway, as far as these Honda Furies, they're a 1312cc engine. I think that comes to like 80 cubic inches. I don't know the horsepower number. I think I did read these had 80 horsepower. I'm not a big guy. This bike carries me perfect. I mean, it has no problem. Very good power, very good acceleration. Smooth as silk on the road. Doesn't have any kind of problems whatsoever. It handles great. They've got like a 3-gallon fuel tank. I think it's 2.9 gallons, or I just put 2.93 gallons in it. And it obviously had some, so ballpark 3 gallons of gas. Fuel mileage, people talk about fuel mileage on motorcycles, and that's a very vague, it's very hard to answer that. And I'll tell you why. This bike, when I work 3 miles from where I live. Riding this bike to work and back each day, I get 39 miles to the gallon. 39, that's 39. I rode this bike to Tennessee one day. I took a 285-mile round trip. And I also, on that particular ride, and this was a 55-mile-per-hour ride down a 2-lane blacktop road, I got 165 miles on my tank of fuel. I had a 165-mile range, and I averaged like, I can't remember, but it was like 66 miles to the gallon. So when people ask you what kind of mileage you get on a motorcycle, riding conditions is everything. Little short rides will cut 40% of your fuel mileage off. If you get on your bike and take one big long ride, you'll get way better. It's actually the same with a car, but it's just much more noticeable on a motorcycle, because you're talking about higher numbers and 2 cylinders, or versus 6 or 8. And just change the oil on it. These things holds 4 quarts of oil. I don't really have a lot of specs on this. This is not a review with a bunch of specs. This is just a review as a 5-year ownership review is what this is. Bike still looks good. All this chrome stuff, it's just chrome plastic. It's just plastic that's chromed. That's all it is. Nothing fancy. The Harleys, when you get on them, are, they just feel a lot more expensive. I guess that's the word. They just a much more expensive feeling bike. So it just depends on what you want. It's funny. I have people kind of fuss at me. These guys that loves Harleys. They almost fuss at me for buying a Honda, and that's all right. I don't care. They're great people, and I would love to have a Harley, but for the money, I mean, I just can't justify going and making that investment. Now, if my wife would ride with me, and she would take little rides down to Tennessee and things with me, I'd go straight and get one. But she doesn't. And well, for what I do, and everybody's different, what you're going to do with your bike, anything you do in life, how it applies to you is all that matters. If you're going to buy a pistol, ain't nobody else can tell you what to buy. Get what fits your hand. Same with these bikes. If you want a local rider, a cruiser, kind of a hot rod cruiser, this is really a solid bike. I think these come out in 2010. And as far as I know, they've not changed anything. This one, like I said, this one here is a 2015 model. And it's been great. I have zero complaints with this bike after 5 years of ownership. And it's been real rainy the last couple of years, so I haven't got to ride as much as I normally do. But I've kind of made up for it this year. I've done a lot of riding this year already. I love to ride motorcycles, but you got to really watch and be careful. I've got to where I'm 49 years old now. I used to never have a fear, and I've got to where I've noticed now, every time I come to an intersection, I tighten up. Every time I see a car pull up and stop, I tighten up. I'm afraid they're going to pull out in front of me. And you have to sort of assume that they're going to. You have to really be careful. But anyway, chances are if you do what you're supposed to, you're going to be fine. Hope you guys enjoyed the little mini review here. Peace out, guys.